What sucks about being your age? Story 1. With the pandemic going on, many people in my age group have just been overlooked for assistance. I'm 22, almost 23, and graduating college right now in the US. My university is in a different state from my family, so I have to pay rent for an apartment and buy my own food and all of that. But I also lost both of my part-time jobs when this all started. One as a student employee for the university, another working in a restaurant nearby. Because I'm a student, I've been ineligible to collect unemployment, and because my parents still claim me as a dependent on their taxes, I don't get a stimulus check. Also because I'm over 18, my parents don't get any additional bonus to their own stimulus checks while financially supporting me as best they can. I've had ongoing issues over the past year and a half with not being able to afford food most of the time, but the problem has been especially pronounced during quarantine. I don't eat more than one meal a day because I need to ration what I have. If I'm in this situation, I know that there have to be others like me. Story 2. Being retired. Two things that really suck are: 1. Watching good friends pass away yearly. 2. Having to push through the aches and pains of old age to do the things you enjoy. But I realize that I'm luckier than many of my friends who have had hip, knee, or shoulder replacements or open heart surgery. But your second point is important to keep your mobility. My grandparents basically hung it up at 70 and sat on the porch all day, every day, and started really slowing down in their 80s to the point that both needed a cane and then a walker. My grandma is still alive at 93 but lives in assisted living and sometimes struggles even with a walker. My dad just turned 70 this year but still plays tennis 2 to 3 times a week and boost ball twice a week and still takes on most of the housework. When he retired at 58, he stopped moving, got bad arthritis and back pain, and had to be told at physical therapy that he has to keep moving on. It'll just get worse. That is such a big fear of mine. Not growing old, but just not being able to take care of myself anymore or do things alone. I've heard loads of times what you do in your 20s stays with you forever. So I'm hoping if I take care of myself right and keep with it into my old age and stay active, that won't happen. But then again, Father Time is undefeated, and it's really only a matter of time. We all slow down at some point. That's why it's so important to really live your life the best you can. Just try to enjoy yourself. Story 3. When I was in my late teens to mid-20s, I used to make fun of my dad because he's not able to read small print newspapers, etc. because letters were blurry. He would ask me, "Steve, read that for me, it's too blurry." I come out and say to him, "What's the matter? Too old your eyes can't make out small print?" His reply be, "You just wait, you fricker. Get my age and you will go same stuff." Well, some 15 or so years later, I had some blueprints out on table. Concrete construction I do. Had some details I couldn't make out, so, "Jesse, come here, can you tell me what this says?" I be a mother fricker. My son's reply was, "You getting too old, Dad? Can't read that?" That moment years back of me telling my dad popped up, and thinking of what my dad told me is going to happen to me one day. He was just saying that he's okay, not to forget about him from the grave. Love you, Pops. I'm sure your eyesight is better. Aw, that was really sweet. A little frightening that most people's eyesight starts going with age, just because seeing is such an important part of our lives, but hey, that's what getting older does. Story 4. I'm not sure if this happens with all people my age, but I'm 18, and people, specifically my parents and close family members, but not limited to them. "You're 18, you're legally an adult. You need to be doing these things on your own." Whenever it will work in their favor, then immediately go back to, "You're still just a teenager, you're still my kid." Whenever I try to be even the slightest bit independent, I can assure you this happens to everyone your age, especially with parents. I'm pretty sure all parents just have a mutual agreement to use that argument against their kids for some reason. Story 5. I'm 29. 5 couples from my friend's circle are expecting a child or recently got married. A few others have built a solid foundation in their career and are buying houses. Most of us grew up in apartment buildings, so it feels fancy to own a house at 30 where I'm from. Meanwhile, I'm currently a student and broke. It feels like everyone's so far ahead in life that they'll always be a step further and I'll never catch up. That is a very easy hole to slip into, but not an easy one to dig yourself out of. You'll catch up in time. Some people just go slower than others, and there's nothing wrong with that. Your time will come too. Story 6. Being 21. Feel pressure to save money before I move out on my own. Bills, rent, textbooks, tuition, etc. Went to community college, paid tuition, and lived at home. Still very hormonal despite not being a teen anymore. And I'm horny and depressed. All the time. At least I can drink. Edit. I just want to say thank you all for the great advice. I appreciate it so much. Story 7. Final year student in 2020. Frick you, Corona. Dude, this Rona stuff fricked my grades. Yeah, me too. Also have no will to finish my thesis. I wish I only had normal classes. It's so hard to cope with my anxiety at this moment. I'm so happy I graduated right before Rona hit. Feel bad for everyone else though. That year was fricked up. Story 8. Once your friends start getting married and having kids, stuff becomes lonely. Yep, doesn't help when you move 3,000 miles and don't know anyone. Especially now since I can't even socialize with new people. And I've made very few legitimate friends out here. Edit. I'm a woman, but thanks everyone. All you dudes are solid people and I appreciate the sympathy, advice, and kind words. Story 9. The early 20s is that weird age where you're just old enough to be out of touch with what's cool, but not yet old enough to be fully progressed in your career to be sitting on enough stacks to not care about that. Just turned 33. Where's the stack? The new hires are children and the managers are ready for the Grim Reaper. Stuck in the no man's land that is your 30s. So glad I can now look forward to that once I hit 30. Story 10. I'm not old enough that I should have my stuff together, but I'm too young to have my stuff together. No one has their stuff together. Literally no one. Anyone who tells you otherwise is lying to save face. I'm married, can afford my living, and have my desired career. I still don't even have my stuff together. I have no freaking idea what I'm doing. I've just been stupidly lucky. Maybe that's all life is. Just going about your business and hoping for the best. I mean, that's the only explanation, right? Story 11. I have a perfectly clean driving record and over 6 years of never missing an insurance payment, but the monthly insurance bill is more than my car payment. I've been to 15 different places. It all ranges from $200 to $350 a month, and I'll lose my license if I can't afford working $9 an hour. I lost my car, I lost my job and apartment. That's just awful, I'm so sorry. I don't know when this was posted, but I really hope you're back on your feet now. Story 12. I'm too old to take up most action sports. Body doesn't bounce back like it used to. That stuff's real. And too young to retire and just freak off all the time. I feel you, man. My stuff is just now starting to fall apart. I'm pretty active still, but sometimes my body just hurts for no reason. It's only gonna get worse from here. Wait, you're telling me the random pains don't stop? Story 13. You're too young to do things because everyone finds you like a stupid child. Nobody pays attention to your opinion. You just exist. You don't live, you exist. That's terrible for a person like me, because I want to do stuff. I want to work, I want to study the things I like. I want to talk with older people, but that's difficult. Yeah, I definitely don't miss that part of my childhood. Story 14. Nearly 60. I forget things all the time. Easy to remember old things, hard to remember new things. I once left my card in an ATM twice in 1 month. All my passwords have to be written down somewhere, as do the birthdays of my kids. I constantly get fatter even though I don't eat anymore. I haven't had regular sleep patterns for 20 years. Every day I'm a little more tired. That last line hit a little too hard. The passwords thing is understandable though. I have way too many accounts to keep track of. Story 15. I'm expected to act like an adult but get treated like a kid. I'm 17. Edit, wow, my first silver. Thank you, kind stranger. That's how I was treated my whole childhood. Story 16. When you finally understand what Mark Twain meant when he said youth is wasted on the young. Edit, quote is from George Bernard Shaw, or maybe Oscar Wilde. Story 17. I turned 14 in June. I hate people telling me I'm too old for things like Easter egg hunts, playing with dolls, or I'm just too big to love on my parents. Like, I don't think I asked for your freaking opinion. Being too old for something is so stupid to me. Joy doesn't stop at a certain age, and most people grow out of it anyway and realize they wasted way too much of their life not doing what they wanted due to other people's opinions. We only have a little time alive. Make the most out of it and do what you enjoy. Story 18. I'm 2 months away from being a legal adult. The suspense is killing me. Wait until you turn 25 and get your box of driving talent. Story 19. Nobody likes you when you're 23. That depends. Do you still act like you're in freshman year? Story 20. My body's starting to feel the aches and pains older people have told me about. It's not terrible, just really annoying. How old are you? Story 21. Being 50. I better find something good. You can angrily mumble about these darn kids everywhere. Story 22. Wrinkle cream and acne cream. Yes, why do I have gray hairs and zits? Not fair. Story 23. I'm 25 and the whole existential dread of figuring out what to do with my life is probably the worst part of things. Dang, so this isn't stopping anytime soon for me? Story 24. Dulled emotions. Being a teenager had some very low lows, but the highs also fell higher. Now I'm in a constant state of apathy. This ain't an age, partner. Story 25. 26. Everyone freaking asks what you're doing with your life. I don't know. I don't want to talk about jobs. People who only want to talk about jobs with you either genuinely want to hear about your plans or are super boring. Story 26. Balding, back pain, bad vision. I'm 23. Yeesh. The 3 Bs. Story 27. Mid to late 20s. Feeling like I'm way behind from where I should be by now. That never goes away. Story 28. Old enough to start to hurt and ache, but supposedly I have another 30 years of productivity in me. Story 29. I'm 49 years old here. The menopausal hot flashes, etc. are not a problem, but 4 stone and weight on an 8 months is freaking awful. Story 30. What sucks about being 30-ish is now you actually have to make important decisions you were putting off, like changing career, etc. Story 31. Being around people that are in their late 30s or 40s feels like I'm not really an adult, but talking to their teenage kids makes me feel like I'm 100 years old. Part of me kinda blames TikTok for that. Story 32. I'm between the age of getting your driver's license and being a legal adult. 17 is just purgatory for privilege. Although for me, I got to drive at 16. Story 33. I wouldn't change being 41 for anything, but new aches and pains all the time definitely suck. Story 34. At 73, I am reminded daily, by my body, that I'm not 25 years old anymore. Story 35. My body is starting to fail on me and no matter what I can do, I can really only watch. That's terrifying. Story 36. Sucks not being old enough to drink, but not young enough to call yourself a teen. Assuming you're 20, I agree. It's such a weird age. 22 as well at times. Story 37. 2 economic recessions when I'm supposed to be building my life. Story 38. Too old to be relevant, but too young to be taken seriously. Story 39. Being constantly horny and hormonal. Story 40. Being 1 year closer to death than I was last year. Story 41. 30. Nothing is new anymore. Story 42. Being sore because I slept wrong. Finally someone said it. I blame the terrible positions I sleep in rather than my age though. Story 43. 22. Graduated college into a pandemic. Story 44. Being told young people have it easy. Story 45. How old are you? I'm 30. I've been doing that even when I was young. Takes a while for my brain to adjust to my new age each year. Story 46. It's so hard to try to find love. Story 47. I'm 28, so I'm almost 30. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe for more videos to come, or else this spider will be in your bed tonight.